I'm a failed artist, and so are you. Today I'm going to be talking about how we need to be doing less of this.
Please, sir, I want some more.
What? Ask for more?
And more of this.
So you're a killer?
Sir, yes, sir!
Let me see your war face.
Sir!
You got a war face? Ah! That's a war face. Now let me see your war face.
Ah!
Bullshit! You didn't convince me. Let me see your real war face.
Ah!
Today we'll be talking about the state of the industry very briefly, because it can probably just be summed up in a photograph at this stage, and why you want to get out now. Then we'll be going over what you can do about it instead of pursuing jobs and so forth. So current state, right, so 2022, 8,500 layoffs. 2023, that's last year, 11,250 layoffs. And this year to date, 6,000 layoffs almost, and this was published in March, so that was a month ago, it being April now. And if we look at the game industry layoffs website, you can see that the projected estimated total in 2024 was 8,000. When I looked at this last year, or at the start of this year, it was projected to be 5,000. So we are looking at, noting that this is 6,000 so far in March, January, February, March, 3 months, 6,000, and this was a total of 11,000 in the whole of the year. I think we can probably see this. I mean, God, are there any jobs left to destroy at that stage, you know? So it is a terrible state we've got. Let's look at the big numbers in this year. Electronic Arts, 670 losses. PlayStation Studios, 900. Activision Blizzard, 1,900. Unity, 1,800. Twitch, 500. And all the other ones in between. So the state of the industry is pretty terrible right now, and we all kind of knew that anyway. And the thing is, I remember when this first kicked off, me and the other artists were like, this was like, say, end of 2023. So about here we were saying, oh wow, just give it a few months, just hang in there for a few months and it'll come back. Well, it didn't, and it's not going to for the foreseeable. So my point is, let me just read through my notes. My point is, the industry is fucked in fundamental ways and won't recover for years. But even if it does, it was a high-risk industry anyway, is the thing that people are forgetting. It's not like, oh, it'll go back to normal and then normal is good. Normal wasn't good, especially for artists, and especially for concept artists. And with AI looming, it's going to be game over before we can see any kind of boom. But personally, I don't think we'll see any employee benefiting boom in the future, because I reckon in the future the CEOs will just take all of the cream and we won't see any of it. Again, especially because AI is looming. A lot of the big studios have already conceded that they will be investing in AI, and why wouldn't they? Come on. So now is the time to be realizing your full artistic potential versus trying to get your portfolio seen by the hiring staff. When you get a job in the game industry, you put all your eggs in one basket, and that basket can and will fuck you. Unlike many professions where getting a job is the only option, as artists we have other avenues, especially in the digital age, where we can think outside the box. So I'm just going to continue to read from my notes and talk about why you should get out now, and then we'll talk about what you can do about it. So, disclaimer, this doesn't apply to people in third world countries, because they can live like a king on just a few weeks of well-paid freelance work at good industry rates. If you live in a third world country, then you can switch off now. Some people are hitting me up for advice on breaking in, and even though they know the state of the industry and AI, those people are at year one of learning, and if you're like me, it can take 5 to 10 years to get in. Just to be good enough to get into the games industry, it can take 5 to 10 years. And right now, I'm a 10-year veteran, and I haven't worked for the games industry in half a year. So that's pretty sobering for those who are at year one trying to get in. And me and my wife have had to move in with my mother just to afford to live. because she's a junior game developer also, so we're both screwed on that one. So yes, I'm getting artists messaging me who are completely naive to job seeking and the job seeking world and what that entails, and they think they can just come up with a portfolio and just start applying for jobs, and these people are at minimum 5 years away from being good enough to even begin to be put in a position where they can actually apply for a job with realistic expectations. And they don't realize this. They think, okay, I saw this one person message me and they said, okay, so I've done a course on illustration, not a degree or a proper like full tuition or a boutique learning experience like Feng Zhu or Brainstorm or anything like that. Just probably some sort of college course for a few months. And they were saying, I'd like to work for Magic the Gathering. And I don't think they had a clue what they were in store for, especially, like I say, with AI being around the corner. I mean, it's not really around the corner, it's actually on our doorstep. So even if you get in, you'll be so insecure in that position that you won't be able to relax and just enjoy your career, because at any time you can be kicked to the curb with no notice, which happens a lot even before the COVID boom and bust. People would regularly move countries in some cases, and in the first week they'd be like, sorry, studio's being closed now. And I recently had a job. It was very brief. The job didn't last very long. But again, a good job. I didn't move country for it. So it was a misunderstanding of style and the whole 3D versus 2D thing, which I've mentioned in other videos. But they had me sign the contract that said they wanted me to give them 3 months notice for when I wanted to leave, but they could give me 1 week's notice. That's the sort of industry that you're like trying to get into. So let's talk about why now is the time. So I talked in another video, which I will link to at the end of this video, about what you can do as an artist to make money. So I'll quickly recap on some of those and expand upon them, because we need to dig a little bit deeper in the fundamentals on that, because a few people were a little bit skeptical as to whether that would work. And so we'll be talking about how to go more into the art entrepreneur world. And so another key point is that many of you will not make it. So there's a girl who I saw, nice young lady, doing a YouTube video on the state of, in her case, the animation industry, which is also screwed right now. This isn't just the games industry, this is the creative industry, because DreamWorks have had layoffs and da-da-da. And she made this video saying how she saw that there was some bad times coming, so she saved up every penny she could, and then she got laid off. And at the time of making the video, it was a year later, and she had erased all of her savings in that time. And she even talked about the idea of becoming an independent artist and how that's just not for her. And she's like, no, I'm the last person on earth to do that. I will not do social media. I will not do any of that stuff. So this video is for, well, it would be for people like that if they would listen. But it's for people like that who just aren't even trying, and all they're doing is trying to get a job and putting their portfolio on ArtStation. Do not be this person. Right now, we're all jobless. We should be scrambling to build something, not just make another temple in the sand and upload it to ArtStation and get 20 likes on it and hope that some employer sees it. And if they don't, guess what? That time has been wasted. Especially if it was made in 3D without any use of fundamentals. People are just stuck to the narrative of job hope. And people are like, yeah, I should look into social media at some point, maybe. Don't be these people. There are so many artists out there who are just like, yeah, social media, yeah, I should probably upload more stuff. Or there's one artist who I mentioned in another video who's a really good artist. I'm sure he's worked for Disney and the like, and it's just sort of like, yeah, so people don't like me on social media, but they were posting pictures of their cat on Instagram and things like that, and there is a skill to these things that can be honed and worked. So as a recap, to the other video about how to earn money as an artist, I mentioned the idea of the following things: selling 3D models, selling tutorials, photo packs, partnering with a Python developer, or even learning Python yourself. Why not? Because we've got to think outside the box these days and make Blender add-ons, you know. And YouTube income, a couple of other things. So alongside that, any freelance work that you would be doing would be making up a third to a quarter of your income, whereas previously you were only relying on that. So your income would just be those few. I mean, there's a lot of time when I was working for just about 3-4 weeks in a whole year, and the rest of that time was just wandering aimlessly through ArtStation, trying to get attention, trying to upload, and just getting nowhere, as opposed to trying to build a product or build a whole brand that I could monetize and make an income from independently of clients. Now I want to go deeper on those points that I mentioned on the other video where you could make money, and just expand upon the philosophy and not just say, hey, let's make this and let's make that. So but the first thing is you need to remember is that this is a process that's going to take years. But you know, if you want a job in the game industry, guess what you'd be doing? You'd be spending years in your mother's basement earning nothing, while you maybe someday hope to get good enough to get a job. So either way, you'll be doing the same time for the same thing. So that time would pass anyways, is the point. You would be either spending that time grinding your skills to hope to get a job, while maybe posting on social media here and there, instead of spending that time between now and then just building pure job-worthy skills. You will instead be building a product, and something that you can sell, and the product mainly being you, but also things that you can sell from that product. Point number one, either way you have to put in the years. It's just that in this approach you'll be spending those years working on, for example, YouTube skills. So let's talk about YouTube. Maybe that would look like just spending 1 day per week to make 1 video per week, playing the long game. Do that with quality content, and you could be monetized within a year, maybe less if the content is really good. The income from YouTube is not going to be great. You have to factor in with YouTube, this is something that I learned recently, you have to factor in the type of channel that you have and how much it can be monetized through the ads. But it would be something that you'd be building up passively anyway, and it would bring in a reasonably passive income. And you could, if you start to really play with that, just play with YouTube and the concept of it, it could be more rewarding than you think. You could think of a different channel. You could start to focus. Maybe you could do it if you learnt a lot about making money. I know one guy who's managed to make a decent money making tutorials, so he could then make a YouTube channel on how to make money from making tutorials, and that would bring him potentially a reasonable, it's a slice of the pie is the point. You have your pie chart, so your YouTube slice would be there, your freelance slice, instead of being like this big and that's all the whole pie, now the freelance is this part of the pie. And maybe as time goes on and you build this up slowly over years, remember, like we talked about with building up your skill to get a job, you'd build up the YouTube part of the pie might grow a little bit. So that's YouTube, which I mentioned in the other video, but this is expanding upon that philosophy and thinking outside the box. I myself was thinking about maybe doing an animation channel, but apparently animation is not the best for cost per mile, RPM and that kind of thing. However, you could build an audience with that. You could build a large following, and then with that large following you could do something with it. So the possibilities are quite endless there. Number 2, selling digital products. So in my video, how to make money as a digital artist, one guy was saying with regards to photo packs, he said, yeah, I did that, I sold photo packs and made like $5. And so I was like, maybe that's not a good idea, maybe it's a stupid idea. But then I looked at his photo packs, and now bear in mind most photo packs on ArtStation sell for about $5, so they're quite cheap. And he was selling photos of construction sites And the thumbnails, when you clicked on it and you see the little preview thumbnails, like a little gallery of what you get, they were so low res that you couldn't even see them. And he had like 2 products. They were like similar products like that, and they were about 2 to 3 times the cost of your typical photo pack that did have perhaps quality stuff in it. So, you know, and I even told him this, and he was just like, yeah, well, I think some people will find those useful. So don't be that guy, and use your brain. Think like a business person. Study business. Think about what people want. And for God's sake, when somebody gives you feedback like that, don't just go, and just take the feedback and learn from it. So many people that come to me and talk to me and ask for me for advice and stuff, they just don't listen at all. So with regards to selling digital products and photo packs and the likes of that, look at other people who look like they have nice things that they're selling and that maybe are making good sales, and at least do something like that. Don't just throw something at a wall and just hope that it sticks. So number 3, tutorials. So as I mentioned before, I know there's one guy who made 60 grand in a year, slightly less than a year, selling plasticity tutorials. So guys, think outside the box. Think of things that people are currently trying to learn. Maybe if you have Procreate, that's up and coming, but whatever it is, whatever new technology it is, that you could learn that and make digital products around it. Maybe you're a new artist and you suck at drawing and painting, so you don't feel like necessarily teaching art skills because you're learning those. But maybe you're very technical and you know or are capable of learning a lot about geometry nodes or animation principles. Even if it's not directly, this is the thing, even if it's not directly related to concept art or illustration, it's okay. Maybe, you know, technical 3D modeling, maybe After Effects, or even further away than that. Maybe you're good with audio technology or some aspect of Unreal Engine, but just keep digging until you hit gold. We're trying to think like creative entrepreneurs, think outside of the myopic tiny window of concept art, the concept art industry, the ArtStation world. So even when you're then trying to sell something that has almost nothing to do with art, you can say, hey, I can brand that, I can do something creative with the packaging and that kind of thing. I hear you say, I dreamed of being an artist. I didn't come here to do graphic design and branding and all that kind of stuff. I can actually hear people saying that. It's like, oh man, you know, I just wanted to be an illustrator. I don't want to have to go and do all the social media stuff and learn branding and marketing and stuff like that. But these same people are going to talk about getting a part-time job in the local supermarket. So this is just a way to supplement your income, and then maybe if you can do well there, we'll, as artists, we'll still want to create. We can do that, but maybe later on when the money is coming in, we will do the creating on the side, and it will be a comfortable process as opposed to quickly trying to figure out how to turn our favorite project into money, which doesn't really work. We can bring money in and then do our project on the side, and if the project doesn't do so well, then it's fine. But don't get a job in a supermarket. Think of another way. There's so many things that you can do online, so many things that you can sell, so many ways to make money. Number four, social media and your brand. Right, this is key. This is a whole video by itself. Basically, over the years, I've learned this essential wisdom that can and should change your life, and is about topic, theme, style. Okay, so versus just going with the flow. I and many of us are in the latter part and the latter camp. I can't emphasize how important this is. If you were to take your art and the thing that you're best at within art and only do that, and do it in a certain style, don't spend years trying to figure out a style, just, well, maybe focus, do a concentrated focus on what sort of style that you want to do. And just, if you were to just stick to that and do nothing else, you would be way more successful than doing what most of us do, what I've done for the last 10 years, which is meander here and there, bit of sci-fi, little bit of character, bit of prop design, bit of dark, bit of light, bit of temple, cyberpunk, historical, post-apocalyptic, just trying to cover everything within our heart's desire. That is a self-indulgent recipe for disaster. I promise you that that is a terrible way to go about things in the independent artist world. There's a case study that I followed almost in real time. There was an Australian illustrator called Justin Donaldson. Look him up. If you find him on Instagram, he's probably by now. Let's do it right now. Justin Donaldson Art, 120,000 followers on Instagram. Can you see that? It might be back to front. So, in that case study that I was following, because there was a group back then, I don't know if they're still going. There was a group back then that was on YouTube that would help artists become more profitable and think about the business of fantasy art. And so he was one of their test subjects, and at the time he had a few thousand followers on Instagram, and they dug deep into what it is that he likes doing. And he would do fantasy scenes, and he would put a character in, and they would say, your character just doesn't look right, but and this is an incredible example of what I'm trying to say, a real world, real life example that I saw from the beginning and how it ended up. They saw that his backgrounds were really lush and painterly, and they said, we can clearly tell that you love painting green leafy things and that you don't love painting characters. So your homework is to paint a bunch of stuff that you just love doing, the green leafy hobbity kind of stuff. And he did that, and he started to upload that to Instagram, and his success catapulted because it was one consistent thing, admittedly in a theme that is quite universal, which is nice leafy things. And so the point of this example and this story is, when you narrow down what it is that you really like and that you want to do, and there is some wiggle room in there. For example, and I use this example in another video, I like pirates. I might want to do just pirate stuff. That would be really good. Within pirates, you could do all kinds of different things within that genre. And if it was done in a painterly style, people would come to me and go, oh, he's the pirate guy. Maybe it's narrow. You do have to think a little bit carefully, and this is delicate because you have to obviously balance. You want it to be an artist to do these things, and you don't want to be just doing art to make money and becoming a sellout. But for me, the idea is that you start off broad, and then as you get popular and you start to become more stable, you can narrow down at the top. You don't start off tight and then hope that people find you, and then, well, actually it's not tight. This is the thing, we're not even an artist needs to create their favorite thing and kind of stick to it to some degree. But what we're doing, my point is that what we're tending to do is to just do everything, and nobody really wants to see that. The general public aren't going to follow you because they want to see all kinds of different things. They want to follow you for the one thing that you're really good at. And ideally, there is always something that we like doing that the general public also like, and that we can meet somewhere in the middle and follow that model and get success and build upon that. And it's when we become more successful that we're allowed to finally breathe and say, right, I'm going to do this slightly different thing here. And by then you've built your base, your fan base. So in conclusion, the time to chase your artistic goals is now, and it's a time to be capitalized on while employment is difficult and you're sitting around otherwise just waiting. There's a fair chance that even if someone offered you a full-time job now, you'd be unwise to take it versus investing in yourself and your own stable self-sustaining business model. A job can pay the bills, but when it's gone, you've often got nothing to show for it. No portfolio work because you've been working for, say, a year or two on stuff that can't be released, and in that time you didn't have any spare time to do your portfolio work, and now you're like, oh god, now what do I do? But in that time that you have your full-time job, you're getting weaker as an independent artist. Given what we know about the games industry, as well as the other creative industries like animation and so forth, right now investing in jobs is a terrible way to spend your time. Every job you do runs inversely to your social media trajectory, and all it gives you is money, with few exceptions, those being jobs that are high profile. Like if you work for Disney, that would be good for your personal brand in the long run. Star Wars, The Last of Us, and those kinds of things. If that comes along, that's a different thing, because that will build your brand, and when you do go independent, you can say, hi, I'm so and so, I've worked on projects like. So that's the exception to the rule. The writing is truly on the wall right now. We all know it's game over, pun intended, and it's time to take control. It won't be easy, but at least you won't be sitting around at an abandoned train station hoping for a train to come. So good luck, everybody. It really is the best time right now to be looking at your personal brand, growing it, finding your feet, and it will take time, but that time is going to be spent anyway, because there won't be a situation where there is a healthy amount of jobs, God knows, maybe ever again. Because I believe that by the time the industry starts to recover, AI will be hitting us just at the same point. So hit me up with questions. I answer all my questions and comments, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you. Bye bye.